folks. Welcome back. We are here live at the basement of a bank filled with 500 stark raving soccer fans cheering, screaming, yelling our names. We are far away from the gunfire of downtown and safe from squeegee kids, and we are off the crossbar. I am the coach, Pete Eibner. This is my co-coach, Adam the Miz Mizell. It's been too long for this song. Miz, what's going on?
I'm a lot intimidated today. I mean, you come in with the 2003-4 Man United jacket. If I'm not mistaken, my nose could be a little off, a little splash of high karate this morning too. I mean,
I tell you what, the Miz, you can't put anything by him. The Miz identified the jacket and the year. He was off with the high karate because I went Axe body spray. Why? Forgot to shower. That's my business, not anybody else's. What's going on, big fella?
I need you to tell me all about the convention. Let's get right to it, man. You were there all week. Now, I will say, full disclosure, you did see me for 2 hours. However, it was a brutal week for me. It could have been coronavirus, not sure. But I did make it my way down there. By the time I got down there, I felt like someone had hit me upside the head with a 2x4, so I wasn't into the convention. You were. Tell me what happened. I missed it.
Man, let me tell you, folks, the United Soccer Coaches Convention in Baltimore 2020. If you missed it, oh my gosh, did you miss a week? We had the NPSL draft, which saw our own
Bridget Andrzejewski, yeah.
Yeah, get drafted by the Houston Dash. Very happy young lady we see right here. Anyway.
It's funny you mentioned her, too. She's a Lady Eagle. So later on, we'll get more information about the Eagles.
That is true, because we have a great guest today. Should we tell them who it is, or should we hold off?
Great may be a stretch, but,
We've got a guest today. We'll tell you who it is later. So the Coaches Convention, unbelievable.
Now, look, I saw some pictures. I mean, you were rubbing elbows with some pretty big names down there.
Yeah, I mean, look, walking through the convention center, down by the fields, none other than the great U.S. women's soccer legend, Brandi Chastain, stops me and goes, "Hey, are you the off the crossbar guy?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And here we go, right there.
Did she have her sports bra on? Or?
I did not ask, and I did not look. She was fully clothed when I saw her, but she didn't just score. So
I'll chalk that up as a loss for us, right?
But yeah, there were so many good things. The coaches convention itself, the local organization committee is run by Pete Caringi. Anthony Adams did a great job. He had all the clubs represented. It wasn't just like one club or two. He had the best of Baltimore talent, the best of Maryland talent, doing the demo sessions for the coaches. I think it was over 5,000 coaches attended. The place was hopping. Me and you walking around on the convention, what do you call it?
Hall.
Exhibit hall. This guy is the ambassador of swag. There was not a booth that he didn't stop by where he didn't get a pen, a mouse pad, a T-shirt, a sun cap, a magnet. I've never seen anybody leave with that much stuff in that quick a time.
There's actually an art to it.
You are the swag god.
So, what did you learn anything in the sessions, or?
The sessions were great. They had the really top of the line clinicians come in. One of them, they had Anson Dorrance from University of North Carolina Women's. Fantastic session that he ran. There were several run by professional clubs. Benfica ran a great session on the attacking third and possessing the ball in the middle third. They had local players participating. It was outstanding all the way through and through. In the corner, you see some pictures that were throwing up. It was fantastic. And by the way, the nightlife, can't tell those stories here. Unbelievable seeing some of the coaches, friends, former players. The beer will pour. Must say something more somehow. I don't think anybody drinks Lowenbrow anyway, but it was a good time.
A lot to organize, though, I would say. You were part of that organizing committee. It was pretty steep hill to climb, right, to get all that going, right?
Yeah, I didn't have to do much because I'm lazy, but some of the other guys really, really worked their tails off, and it put it all together. And again, it was seamless. So whenever it's in Baltimore, it's a great event.
Did you have any trouble putting the badge on that said local organizing committee?
You know what they have? Here's what they have. They don't give you the badge. What do you call the thing with the neck and the little thing? They don't give you that. They give you a magnet that you have to put on your shirt and then go inside your shirt and put the back of the magnet. And that, yeah, so it's like a magnet name tag. I guess we've evolved from the troublesome days of the safety pin, and we've gone to magnets. And it was very high tech, but I was always scared of losing it, especially with being downtown with squeegee kids and gunfire.
I would think that the magnet stuff could pose a problem for Iron Man, though, with the thing in his chest. Or
All of a sudden, that's why you never see Iron Man at the convention, because he powers down.
Is that what it is? Was it Jarvis? Jarvis doesn't let him go, right?
Jarvis will not let him go to the coaches' convention.
I love it.
All right. So our show, as always, Miz, brought to you by our main guy, Dr. Adam Maddox at Ideal Health Chiropractic. Let me tell you something, Miz. After the convention, because I'm running the sessions, I'm helping out kids, I'm carrying bags, I'm running down steps, I'm going back and forth, escorting teams from the dressing rooms to the fields. I'm doing it all. My back was jacked up. I woke up on Sunday morning, Miss Morgan, I woke up on Sunday morning. My back looked like that movie, you know, the movie where a girl gets kind of possessed.
Poltergeist?
Not poltergeist. That's where she gets into the TV. The movie where she's in a barn and she gets possessed and the parents don't know what to do with her.
Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yes, yes. I was like that one. That was, you know, where the part where her back goes like, and she's all like,
in that nice dress.
Yeah, she was in, and like right there. That's what I look like, Miss Morgan. I was hurting. Went to see Dr. Adam. A little of this, a little of that. They used the guns on me, the bop, 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 bop. They have a bed you can lay on that shoots water jets in your back, and you walk out of there. You don't walk out, you glide out of there. You know what I'm talking about?
But I like the sound effects of the water. Can you give me? Nice, that's great. It's like a super soaker. Almost.
Yeah, it is. It's like having 5,000 kids shoot you in the back with a super soaker in unison.
At Chuck E. Cheese.
At Chuck E. Cheese. Does anybody go there anymore?
I don't know. I know the ball pit's gone, right?
Ball pit or the ball pit of fungus and viruses. By the way, if you do have a fungus or virus, wait till you're better before you go see Dr. Adam, and he'll fix you up. But he does a great job with soccer players. So moms, dads, if your kid has tightness in his lower back, tightness in the hamstrings, the piriformis, having back pain, go see Dr. Adam. He will hook you up. We are off the crossbar, and we'll be right back. We are back, and we are off the crossbar. Miz, you know what I forgot to do?
What's that?
I forgot to thank our house band that led us into the show today. Kelly Bell Band. You guys, awesome. Thank you so much for the music. Thank you so much for coming into the studio and bringing down the house. If you don't follow Kelly Bell, you are just off the charts, out of bounds. Go download his music. It is badass. You like?
I love it. I love it. Any good music other than country, I'm in.
Well, here you go.
Country, I'm out.
Fat PH at Blues. Dig Kelly Bell. Miz, now we're headed to one of our favorite parts. It's a tradition.
It is. I like it. It's my favorite part.
This is where we get to look inside this dome, to shake it around and see what pops out. It is a potpourri of stuff in there. So, Miz, what is the Miz question of the day?
Well, actually, we probably should rename it. It's been so long since we did a show. I think we're going to, maybe coin it the mystery question of the millennium, maybe? Or
mystery question of the millennium.
I mean, it's been a while, right?
It's been a while, but I think we can say the day because it still is a day.
It's true, yeah. So anyway, this question's been bouncing around my channels over the past couple weeks, and I've gotten some good responses, and some I've never even thought of. But it's just a question of and I wanted to see where you're at with it. But it's a musical question.
Musical question, one of my favorite topics.
Yeah. So what would you say if someone said to you, you're 35 years old now, right? No, I'm kidding. But so you've heard a lot of songs, right?
I've been a follower of music. I don't care what the genre.
Right. So what would you think if someone asked you, just quick Baltimore math, is the song that you've heard the most in your lifetime?
The song that I've heard the most.
And let me preface by saying some of the responses that I've gotten are like happy birthday, because if they have a big family,
Yeah.
you do the, you know, all. But
I'm not going to count that.
Yeah,
that's not a song.
Right.
I got to tell you, the first song that comes to my mind is Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah.
I've heard that song so many times that I don't know that I have room to hear it anymore. It is a great song. It's probably one of the greatest rock songs of all time. But between that and Welcome to the Jungle, I can't listen to those two songs anymore. I've heard them too much.
You wouldn't put Don't Stop Believing of the... No?
I could hear Don't Stop Believing a couple more times.
Really?
Yeah, I like Don't Stop Believing. They look at Journey just had a concert in Baltimore not too long ago. They were awesome from what I heard. They have the little Asian singer. They had to put him up on a box so people could see him.
Yeah, I mean,
it was like having a Muppet.
Apparently he sounds like Steve Perry.
He sounds exactly like him, and from a distance he looks just like him.
Yeah, that's interesting that you have the Stairway to Heaven. I have not gotten that one yet.
All the time. I hear that song all the time.
I've heard Back in Black.
That's another one. Too many times.
Right.
Great song, ruined it for me.
I was just interested to see what you thought about that, you know, and yeah, I mean, so happy birthday. But if you had to say the song you heard the most, Happy Birthday would not be it.
I've heard Stairway to Heaven more times than Happy Birthday. But that's also because, you know, a lot of my friends are let's just say they like that type of music.
Sure.
And the behavioral patterns that surround them.
I got you, man.
Got it?
Yeah, thank you. It's good information.
All right. Well, listen, Miss Morgan, we got a treat for you because we are going to take a minute to pause, and then we're going to bring in one of Baltimore's top current coaches, somebody who's got a lot of stars on his jacket, and it's not Vanilla Ice.
That's
all
not
right?
American flag either.
It's not.
He's going for that. But
So, hey, we are off the crossbar. Catch us on the flip side. Welcome back, folks. We are off the crossbar, and we are really proud to have the guest with the resume that this guy has.
It's a great day for us here. I mean, we're very honored today.
I was having Miss Morgan type it up, right? She had one of those old typewriters, couldn't fit it on one piece of paper.
She got carpal tunnel in her wrist.
She got carpal tunnel from writing up this guy's resume, this guy's intro. Listen to this intro. He was a key player and captain of Archbishop Curley's 1999 MIAA championship team. He was an all-Metro selection that year. He went on to play 1 year at UMBC, 3 years at Hofstra, where he was a standout player, only to come back to Baltimore, be an assistant on McDonogh, which won like 5,000 championships, until he got the job himself and has led McDonogh to 4 titles. He's won a couple national championships at the club level. That's all. And I don't know what else you can say about him other than he is a man who needs no introduction anywhere in the civilized world. Let's give a big off the crossbar welcome to Brandon Quaranta.
Coming in, man.
Woo! Man. Big time.
I appreciate that introduction. That's something else.
Well, I tell you what, I appreciate taking out of your time to get here. Congratulations on an absolutely fantastic high school season. Personally, I think it's probably one of the best coaching jobs you've ever done because you didn't start at the top, but you finished there, and you got the most out of those kids, and you played a tremendous final.
No, I appreciate that. You know, obviously it was a bit of an up and down season. Started out 3-3-1. You know, coming in not playing our best soccer. I mean, our program's a little bit different because most of our guys play straight through the summer. So our preseason's light. You know, those guys mentally and physically giving them some time to come back. We don't always start that well. On top of that, dealt with some injuries, and then got a couple key guys back about 8 games in, and rolled off 12 out of our last 13 to win the championship. So. Pretty proud of that.
Yeah, you should be, man. It was a great run.
Don't you? I mean, be honest. Don't you ever get tired of winning, or?
No, never.
Never.
Never. No, I enjoy
Just
it.
keep the pedal on the metal.
We're gonna
and
try.
The pedal to the metal. Yeah.
we appreciate how hard the league is and how difficult it is to win. But we've been fortunate both before when I was assistant. I've been there 15 years now. It's crazy to think about. And then 6 as head coach, and we're going to just try to keep it rolling as best we can. So got to continue to find good student athletes that can come in and help the program. And that's my goal. We're actually in admission season right now, so fingers crossed we get a couple more really good players and really good student athletes into the school.
The first time I was at McDonogh, this is the first time I'm a player, right? I'm at Archbishop Curley. It's like 1986, and I didn't even know McDonogh existed. The world for me didn't go past like Herring Run Park and Highlandtown. That if you drew a circle, that would be my circle. And we take our vans up to McDonogh, and there are kids riding horses. And I'm like, where the hell are we? Right? And then we won the game, but then they ended up winning because of the trust funds. It's McDonogh problems that Curly kids don't have to deal with.
No, they don't. So dial it back for us, man. Like you from playing, like how did you, like what steered you into coaching?
Well, my dad was a coach, so I was around coaching from that aspect most of my life. He constantly talked to me about the game, talked to me about stuff outside of just me playing. At an early age, I knew it was something I'd be interested in, and kind of always suspected that's where I'd end up. My path was actually I was supposed to go to law school, and you guys as coaches can relate with that as probably a terrible financial decision to go into soccer. But made that really wise decision coming out of school. Supposed to take a little break and go into assistant coaching at McDonogh, and 15 years later, I'm rolling out of kickball and PE and with the little kids and coaching the high school team, which has been fantastic and I've enjoyed. But I always kind of knew at some point, that's where I'd end up because I felt like an assistant coach of my dad for so many years, and I can thank him for that because I've been making a lot more money, but might be miserable as a lawyer. And obviously, I'm in a job where I enjoy every day. So,
but do you feel like you get that practice of a lawyer when you get to argue your point with the referees, though, right? So you're
I never speak to the referees ever. No.
Just let them do their thing.
Absolutely, let them do their job. I just sit calmly on the sideline. No, I mean there's an aspect to that. I think anything dealing with people and figuring out how to manage situations and talk your way through them is kind of something I did all the way through school. And so managing parents, managing kids, administration, all that stuff is part of the job, and it's probably helped me somewhere along the line.
Well, hey, I'm going to put you on the spot here, and you can dodge it lawyerly if you want, or you can take it head on.
Sure.
You've had the blessing, club and club and high school, to coach some of the top players to come out of Maryland in the last 10 years. If you had to pick 3 to say, these are the kids why I got into coaching, to help that kid. Not necessarily the best kids, because everybody can coach the best kids, and maybe they did turn out to be, but who are the kids that you feel like, I'm really glad that I got to put myself in their lives?
Wow.
That's a good question.
I wish you would have sent me that question a couple of days ago. So I could have thought about it.
Lawyerly. You see him?
I feel like the names are coming in. The hate mail will follow tomorrow.
I'm going to get crushed.
And that's not to say that it's, look, for me, there are a lot of kids that I've coached through the years that I've helped, that I can say I made a difference in that young man's life. And I'm saying, like, not leaving anybody out. Nobody's going to get their feelings hurt, but just an example of somebody that you coached that you feel like, hey, that's why I got into coaching.
Yeah, first name that popped in my head was Gavin Barger. He's a kid that was on one of my first club teams with the Baltimore Bays, and then transferred into Celtic. I never had him on the high school level,
right,
but had him on the club level. Number one, amazingly talented player. Got the most out of everything that he had. But probably one of the greatest natural leaders I've ever been around. That 97-98 team I had won a national championship, lost again the next year in the semifinal, but it was a fantastic group, and he was a big part of that. There were probably 5, 6, 7 guys in that lineup athletically that might have been, it would pop off the page more when you looked at him, but just his understanding of the game, his technical ability, and his leadership, set him above and beyond from that standpoint. From a high school aspect, kid Aiden Welsh, who is might be an outside choice. He's at Tufts right now. He's won 2 national championships at the D3 level the last 2 years. But he's a kid that, again, I was more of an assistant around his club teams as he was younger, small kid, even into his sophomore year of high school, tiniest kid on the team, but smart, good player. And then he shot up like 6 inches going into his junior year. Was never a starter in high school or club level until his senior year, and then went on to win multiple championships, be acknowledged at the end of the year, and all the state teams, metro teams, all that stuff. But the interesting thing with him is never heard any complaining from him, never heard any complaining from his parents.
Yeah.
Just an A-plus kid. And his senior year probably should have been the number 10 for us or somewhere in the attacking areas. Didn't have a center back. He came to me in preseason first day, said, "Coach, we don't have a center back. I'll take the job." Went back there, played every minute, and was one of the biggest reasons we won the championship that year.
You love kids like that. You love kids that just put it on the line for you, and they're the 2 great examples.
No doubt. Now, a lot of people know this, but they almost kind of, and you just mentioned it a little while ago, it's always something I've been interested in. I mean, we've coached a long time. My father he was an athletic guy, but he wasn't a soccer guy. He was more softball and those type things. But how cool is it to be able to go through this journey of coaching and do it with your dad right next to you? Like, how cool is that?
Yeah, it's tough to explain. It's awesome. I mean, obviously coming in, I was a young coach. I started the club stuff when I was right out of college, 23. Really had no idea what I was doing, quite honestly. I was thrown into some pretty good teams with high expectations, and without him by my side, definitely would have failed, and failed early. And who knows, 2-3 years probably would have been miserable and out of a job. He stayed in the back, and kind of let me take the forefront and take the credit, but was really influential behind the scenes, helping me navigate that, especially dealing with the stuff outside the game.
Sure.
Right? He helped me run sessions, but dealing with the management of the families and that stuff was big. And I probably wouldn't have made it through that first phase without him. And then since, obviously, he's been on the staff, we always joke, we've got that relationship because he's my dad, where I've got a few assistants and I'll listen to them and I'll talk to them and we'll have a cordial conversation, and then him and I turn and yell at each other. Right? We blow off steam, and then after the game we're fine. But we're able to do that because he understands. He's been there. He understands the pressures and the moments I go, and he kind of allows me to get that out on him and not take it too personally, which is a big thing for me. But no, it's great. I mean, as long as I'm coaching and he's able to get on that sideline and move around, I'd love to have him with me, and I'm lucky in that regard.
You know what? I had the great opportunity to watch some of that, and and I've known you since you were a player. And one of the things I've always loved about your dad is he can come into a situation, and if he needs to lead, he leads. If he needs to step back and be a role player, whatever role you need, he's got it, and he'll do it. And he's very selfless in that manner. But one of the things I've noticed with you guys is early in your coaching career, he was very active and almost like a co-coach. Mm-hmm. And now I see him like he'll laugh. He almost jokes about I don't even know why I'm here anymore. But he takes that role, and what he does, what I've seen is he really works on the players and get them to buy into what you're doing. And that is invaluable to have a guy like that can fit all those roles, but do them each successfully. And that's a huge credit to your dad, and I'm sure that rubs off on your coaching.
Yeah, no question. First of all, I say all the time, I'm the smallest part of the process on my staff. I'm blessed to have, first of all, I'm lucky from a school standpoint to have 5 guys that help me out. I mean, that's another McDonogh problem, as you said. So I'm lucky in that. And they're all really qualified and bring different roles.
Yeah.
You're right. Number one, he's backed off a little bit each year and kind of pushed me more to the forefront and hasn't taken 5% of the credit he deserves in that regard. So I appreciate that from him. But now, he's a grandfather for kids now.
Yeah.
He's to be quite honest, he's not going to like hearing this. He's a lot softer than he used to be. So he's that guy that now comes in. He's put the arm around the kid and allows that aspect where I can, there's times you got to push her and be tough on the players, and we're able to use that dynamic. So it's great to have him in that role. I think he's really enjoying it, and I think he'll coach until he can't coach anymore.
Right. Well, look, that's kind of the way we all are, right? It gets in your blood, and the game is in your blood, and you can't get away from it.
No question.
So you've had a pretty successful career, both in the parallel of club and high school. I know that there's things that you like about each, but what do you like? What do you like better? Number one, and if it's what do you like about each that's different?
Having really good players is the thing. I like most in both regards. It makes me a better coach.
Sure,
players.
absolutely.
No, but honestly, the high school, I love the fact that I get to be with them 6 days out of the week. Whether it's games or practice, you don't get that luxury in club, or at least not most club settings. So when you have 6 days a week, there's a lot more you can do.
Sure.
Right? So we're able to break down training and do more specific things, which I love. Now, it's a little crammed in the time frame from a game standpoint overall, but I just love that ability where I'm spending, obviously outside of my teaching requirements at McDonogh, the rest of my day is designed to those specific sessions, running those 90-minute sessions, having stuff before them, after them, film, different things like that, and it's really all-encompassing from that standpoint. I enjoy that aspect of it. From the club standpoint, it's a much longer season, right? So you get the ability to see where they are, in our standpoint, my age is coming off high school in November, and then where you can get them in July, right? So it's more of a process-based thing as opposed to 3 months, guns blazing, going after it, trying to get to that championship game. So it's very different in that regard. I appreciate both. I enjoy doing both, but my coaching approach to high school and clubs is very, very different. High school, I'm kind of, like I said, it's pedal to the metal, right? Like you got to get a lot done quickly in 3 months. And in club, I'm much more patient coach, much more relaxed in some ways because I'm trying to get them good for the end of the year. So I enjoy that aspect. Where in high school, I feel a bit more pressure every day, especially in the MIA in that league. So.
Sure.
Yeah, look, you heard it here. Both present their own challenges. This guy's successful at both.
He's figured it out. I don't know how.
All right.
Good players.
We are off the crossbar. We'll be right back. We are back at Off the Crossbar at the basement of a bank filled with the lovely scents of the candles Miss Morgan's got going right now. I believe this is Coastal Palm, Brandon, that she's got going. It's like a yoga studio in here.
I was going to say, I'm relaxed. About you?
I feel wonderful.
When I first got here, it was a little tense. She lit the candles. All of a sudden, she's doing some transcendental meditation, and just the vibe has become very zen.
Can I take my shoes off? Or
You can take your shoes off.
Are we going to hold hands?
We can.
Kumbaya?
I think that's where she wants this to go.
Okay.
I think she wants this to be a kinder, gentler Off the Crossbar
Experience. By the way, you know what I wanted to know? Does that work when the guests do it, or?
Well, you gotta wait till I say it.
Hold
on. Let's see if Brandon's got the power. We are Off the Crossbar.
I didn't hear anything, so we'll have to see.
All right.
I think I nailed it.
I think you got it. So, Brandon, you've been a coach for a long time. You played at a high level. You've coached in the Development Academy yourself. Here we have the U.S. National Team going through, let's say, a transitional phase with Greg Berhalter bringing in a bunch of kids to play against Costa Rica. We walk away with a 1-0 victory. What do you think?
So I haven't been encouraged over the last few months, but I actually came out of that game with some positives. We had a younger, pretty inexperienced team out there. Obviously, Costa Rica didn't put their full lineup out, but had a more experienced team. I thought we had a decent amount of possession. I thought we were pretty organized. Didn't create nearly enough chances, I think, in the game. But had control of the game, which is, to be honest, when I looked at the lineups, I thought was going to be an issue. So I was encouraged by that. I mean, I'll say the jury's still out on Berhalter and where he's going with things. That's a wait and see. But I also think it's a process. So I'm willing to give him the time and see what happens and go from there. But I would say Cannon in that game was very good down the right side. And then obviously the young kid, whose name I can't pronounce, scoring the goal, I think is going to be a player. So some positives.
Ulysses Juanes. There's like 6 L's at the front of his name. Miz, what were your thoughts?
I feel like the attendance was at, 9,000 and maybe 4,000 staff?
Oh
I
my
think
gosh,
fourth
it
down,
was empty, wasn't it?
Did they count the guys with the jackets that stare, the security guys? I think they were counted in that. I mean, it looked like I've seen more people at a high school badminton, and not to disrespect high school badminton, it's a great sport, but I don't know that it garners the audience.
Right. It looked like and I'm pretty sure they took all the people from one side of the stadium and went, sit here so you can be on the camera.
Yeah.
It was not, there.
Do you feel like California is just getting tired of hosting and like they don't get excited, or I mean, what is the cause of that?
Do you want to know my personal opinion?
I do.
Well, my personal opinion is it comes from the results. There is nothing right now, except for Christian Pulisic, that gives you that, U.S. National Team is where it's supposed to be. You kind of get that feeling like, what are we watching? What are we watching? And now, granted, young team, good performance, relatively speaking. It was a good game to watch. But on Super Bowl weekend, mind you, great planning. What's going to motivate you to go watch the U.S. men's national team? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'd say this. So while the process is playing out, I think you need a guy who can rally the troops, and I'm not sure that's his personality, just judging by what I've seen. I don't know him, obviously, but he seems like a kind of meticulous, like behind-the-scenes guy on the iPad, analytic type guy.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that's the personality you need when you're trying to come out of a time frame like the U.S. soccer's been in. I'd rather have a guy who a little more passion who can stir the fan base and get it motivated. And that clearly, with that attendance, that's not happening. I agree.
I wonder, because the U.S. women's team played the following day, also played Costa Rica, and won 6-0. I did not look at the attendance, but I wonder if we're at the point now where maybe the women's team is outdrawing in some events the men's national team, and if that happens, that's
Wouldn't surprise me one bit. Just going back to analytics real quick, you just touched on that. Like, how big are you on that?
So we take basic stats from that standpoint. We're big on film. We do watch a lot of film.
As far as shape and stuff like that, or
yeah, everything. So again, I have a bunch of staff. We have several kids, seniors at the school who don't play, who are able to film games and take stats. So I would say we do more than most schools. In the end, I want stats to reinforce what I'm telling them. But I've always been more of a feel type guy. You know what I mean? So I think the stats can tell you a story. But I think guys who have been around the game get a better feel if they know their players and know their teams on what's needed. So there's a balance there. I think both play a game, but I always tend to go to more of gut feeling and how what I think the group needs in that moment, as opposed to 6 versus 3 in whatever category you're looking at.
I used to, like, with the analytics stuff, I like it. I like to have a little bit of that data, just as to refute a kid who, hey, I'm a forward, and
right.
He plays forward for 9 games. He logs, 5,000 minutes as a forward and has no goals and no assists. Like, if you're a forward and you're not creating or scoring, you're not a forward. You know what I mean? And so
for sure.
It's nice to have that data and, maybe goals against stuff, things like that. But you're right. I'm in total agreement with you, where I think it's, kind of the eyeball test one way, analytics the other way, and you can kind of find a happy balance.
Well, speaking of the eyeball test, you want to go over some highlights from the U.S. men's team?
Sure.
Here we go. 13th minute as we look up into the corner. Areola gets in one-on-one with Costa Rica's massive goalkeeper, Alvarado. What a save. What'd you think of that guy? Alvarado. Great save. Say his name. Great.
Alvarado.
I'm still stuck on Areola, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, but whatever. Let's
we lost you at that point.
Yeah. I was
So Alvarado sounds like something you'd put in a salad.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
So, great save. This guy is absolutely gigantic. He's got to be like 6'4", 6'5", huge wingspan, great save right there. And now, if you look, Costa Rica coming back down the 23rd minute. What happens here? Off the crossbar. We dodged a bullet.
We did. Yeah, lucky. It's a game of inches sometimes, right?
Yeah, because you go down 1-0 with that young team, I don't know you recover.
Well, and the other side of that is you can see what they're made of too. I mean, you see a lot when things aren't going well. You got to see if you can dig deep and battle back into a game. So, see how resilient they are, you know?
So then not a whole lot happens until we get into the 49th minute, right? Here we have Cannon, your boy, who, I mean, just...
Player of the match for me.
Yeah, I agree. He tore it up, beats his guy, gets into the box, foul. Draws a great foul, does a great job keeping the ball on the outside. The defender has to go kind of through and behind him, which leads to the penalty kick by none other than... Go ahead, try it.
Ulysses Lanes? Is
Lanes.
Lanes? Yeah, okay.
18 years old. Now, as a player, you want to hit that ball at 18 in the national team game?
Well, I have to say yes, because otherwise I sound like a chicken. But yeah, I think you do. I mean, if you're that sort of player and you're in that sort of game, he's been in big moments before. Obviously, this might be one of the biggest for him at this point in his career. But yeah, I think good players want to step up and have that opportunity. And he did really well with it. Got the keeper going the wrong way and look calm and composed. I think he's that sort of player. I think this kid could be special.
Yeah, well, that could change U.S. soccer. These players develop. That could help us. So U.S. National Team goes to a 1-0 win. What are your takeaways, Miz?
I mean, you know, it was saw some bright spots. It was a younger roster, so it's not like, you know, they have a ton of minutes logged on that type of setting. But you know, yeah, some bits and pieces of maybe enthusiasm for the future. But you know, again, it's Costa Rica, who's, you know, a formidable opponent when their roster's out there. I mean, they got some players, but obviously, like Coach said, they didn't have everyone, but they had enough out there to where, you know, it could have got interesting. And, you know, I mean, I feel like a win's a win, and that type of game, we'll take it. You know,
I think the lack of chances is the one thing that was concerning, right?
Yeah.
They have, well, I don't know, maybe 2/3 of the ball or whatever it is, and the final third just wasn't good enough. But again, I thought they controlled the game. So, like he said, not the most entertaining game to watch, but some positives.
Yeah, that's been the problem for the U.S. men's national team. They're content to possess, but we don't attack enough. Whereas you go back 20 years ago, man, I know it's a little different environment, but we would go through CONCACAF teams like, and we would just go at them on the outside, serve balls in, and finish chances. It's not like that anymore. And I don't know if that's because of the teams we're playing are better and more organized, or is that something that we're missing as a country, that we're not developing attacking third players?
I think it's because we force our kids to pay to play club soccer.
Whoa, great segue from the Miz, which brings us to our final topic of the day. Now, pay to play soccer. Facebook, all abuzz.
Always is, right?
Right. Someone puts a post up about pay to play soccer. Tell us a little bit about Miz.
You know, some parents that were chiming
Stop laughing.
Some parents that were chiming in and expressing their disgust for the amount of money that, you know, they pay for their kids to play club soccer. And there were a few comments, I believe, from what I saw real quick about, you know, some other sports as well, but it was basically, it started from a soccer post and kind of went from there.
Do you have any opinion on the matter of pay to play soccer?
I do. Well, first of all, I come from, that's my job, right? So,
right.
Full disclosure, I make money off the game, and you know, I think I deserve to, but it's part of my occupation, right? So maybe a biased opinion in some ways. But saying that, I think if everyone could wave a magic wand and the game would be free, I think everybody would do it.
Would be great, wouldn't it?
Unfortunately, I have yet to hear anyone come up with a plan on how to do that in this country. How do you pay for fields and the tournament costs, which are astronomical, coaches' time and all that stuff? Where is that money coming from? You know, most clubs don't have somebody sitting behind the scenes with a pile of cash who can just donate it and say, hey, take care of the kids. If that was the case, it'd be great. But I think we'd all want to do it. I'd love to see that plan on how to make it happen in the current climate. With the way things are going, I do think clubs could do a better job. I think the federation, different organizations can do a better job helping, and easing some of those costs, or finding kids who can't afford it and providing them opportunities. But across the board, I think it's very difficult.
Yeah, I agree with you. And here's the part that I have a problem with. And I've, by the way, I've gone 180 degrees different. Early in my coaching career, I didn't take a dime for coaching. I wouldn't. And the coaches that did, I was kind of like, what are you doing? Do you do it because you love it? Because my coaches never got paid until college, maybe high school. I'm sure my high school coach got paid. But my point is, I thought it was for the love of the game, and I do love the game. But now back then I was single, I was young, I had all the time in the world to do whatever I wanted. Well, now, I'm married, I got a family, I got 3 kids. I'm putting 2 kids right now through college. And you know what? If you want me to take my time, well, then I have to be compensated in some way for that time because, hey, there's a lot of things that I could do rather than coach someone else's child. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's there's value in knowledge, honestly, and I mean, I feel like when you've built up a certain, I don't want to say resume, but you've built up an experience level to where, and you can attest to this as well, being at national championships multiple times and high school championships in the toughest league, one of the toughest leagues in the country, like. That's that knowledge and all that you gain and acquire through doing it so long, and to then channel that back into players time and time and time again. Aside from, a lot of people don't see the things that come with a coaching fee.
That is for sure.
They see, okay, you might do some training here or there, but they don't see what are you doing behind the scenes. Are you educating yourself? That education is not free. If you want to get a new license or upgrade a license, that's not free. If you spend hours and hours when the kids get to that age on the phone with college coaches and emails with college coaches, trying to connect the kids to their next level after high school.
For sure.
There's got to be some value in all that because, like you said, you're taking time away from your family or, playing golf or checkers or whatever it is you want to do to invest in those kids. And so that's why there's a fee. And just like you said, Coach, I mean, the tournament fees dictate that, the player fees are that high. I mean, it just is.
Yeah, I think most families probably don't have the understanding. We've all been behind the scenes with clubs, and we know the expenses that go in.
Sure.
Just field rentals. I think if parents, and I think providing that information to parents is important because just the numbers that you put out in field rentals over a course of a year, I think most people would be staggered. But to your point with the coaching fee, if you break it down hourly and those sorts of things, I think it's more than a reasonable fee for most people who are getting that standpoint. And once again, we're all in it because we love the game, but there's also a value to your time as you put forward. And the reality is, if parents don't see the value in that coach, there's other opportunities to change your kid up and get somewhere you see value. So once again, I think it's part of our culture, and I think it's going to be difficult to change.
Yeah, I agree. And one other thing, though, I understand. Believe me, I understand.
Sure.
The financial burden it places on some families. And some families absorb it much more easily than others. And so I understand, and I feel the pain. I've always said I will never let money prevent a player from making it one of my teams or playing on one of my teams. If you can't afford it, we'll work something out. There's other ways around it. But when you look at the commitment, if you want to play at a high level, there is a time commitment and a financial commitment. And unfortunately, as we spoke about, those two things are intertwined. If there is not that financial commitment, it's very easy for a parent to not invest the time commitment. And if you're not willing to do both, then maybe high-level club soccer is not your bag, and you should play at a lower level. And there's nothing at all wrong with that.
Absolutely not. I mean, and like you say, if there's no fee per se, or there's no financial investment from the parent or kid, then it becomes they'll show it when they want to, when it's convenient, when Aunt Cindy doesn't have a birthday party, or when whatever the final finale or is not on TV, they'll be it turns into that. I've seen it.
Yeah.
So not that you're punishing them by putting a fee in, but I just feel like when the parents and the kids have a financial investment, now it's like, oh, well, we pay X for this.
You're going.
We need to make sure we're there.
Yeah.
And just like you said, I don't know that, and I'd like to get your opinion on this, but I don't know that I've ever been a part of a team where we had a player that really worked hard to get in and wanted to be a part of it, and we said no because they couldn't come up with it financially. I mean, you just get creative with ways on how to do it. I mean, you ever run across
Yeah,
that?
no, I agree. And again, I think clubs need to be creative, federation, they need to be creative to continue to find ways to provide those kids opportunities. I mean, the reality is, with as big as our country is, we are missing people. Part of the reason we're missing people is that financial component. So I think continuing to find ways to not exclude people because the financial situation is important. But I agree. If you have a kid who is on some sort of financial help, and they're not showing up and things like that, that's one thing. But a kid that's doing everything expected from them, I don't think any coach worth their salt is going to have that kid not part of the program.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page there. But now you get a treat.
Let's do it.
You get a treat. This is my favorite part of the show. Now, you can look at Adam. You can look at me.
Okay.
You can say we have a character trait. We have a physical trait that kind of defines us, quite honestly. You do not share in that trait. You have been blessed with a wonderful head of hair.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So, yeah, we are big fans of that. And I think if we go huge, if we go through the annals of time and look at the best head of hair of all time.
Can we go somewhere other, another entry way through time? Or?
I think the only way through time is through the annals of time.
All right.
The finest head of hair.
Detective suit or something? I mean,
The finest head of hair belongs to none other than
Patrick Swayze, of course. Yeah.
Patrick Swayze. What is your favorite Patrick Swayze look?
Ooh.
The Patrick Swayze mullet.
Yeah, it's got to be the mullet. Absolutely.
But which one? There are so many.
Well, I would need some sort of a visual aid here where they could, is it a little bit shorter, a little bit longer, a little bit higher, sticking up? I mean, I need variety here to choose from.
Okay, Miss Morgan, help us out here. You can have the shaggy point break.
Okay.
You like the shaggy point break? You could have the ever popular Roadhouse.
That's where my mind goes, right?
The Roadhouse has been selected many times, I would say. Or, Ms., what do you think about going way back to the Outsiders?
I'm staying with the shaggy.
You're going with Point Break.
Yeah, I
It's
love
not
that.
really a mullet, but I mean, it's
Okay, I love that movie. And it brings up good memories for me. I don't want to go where everybody else is going with Roadhouse, so I'm going shaggy.
So in other words, if you want the ultimate,
You got to be willing to pay the ultimate price, right?
and that's what we're doing right here with that haircut. So what we do is we give one player the Patrick Swayze Player of the Week. Ms., why don't you inform us who it is?
I'm going to try again. Ulysses Lanes.
Lanes. So there is the young man. Now what we do, if we take the picture of young Ulysses, we are now going to give him the Patrick Swayze mullet from Point Break. And Miss Morgan, if you could, 3, 2, 1. That's a good look. He should sport that look.
Well, Coach believes the kid has a bright future, so it's only fitting that he, start off with the right hairdo.
Kid, let me tell you something. I hope that this is the first of many mullets that you earn. Godspeed to you, child. All right, Ms., anything you want to close out?
I'm dying to know what the legal pad's all about. I mean, what?
Oh, Miss Morgan had a question. Go ahead, Miss Morgan.
Okay, so you guys are all pretty successful coaches. So my question is, Pete, how do you measure yourself with other coaches?
How do I measure myself to other coaches? By height. That's how I judge myself against other coaches. And
I'm in trouble on that one.
So, thank you for that question, Ms. Morgan. Q, thank you very much for coming. Fantastic job. Love the insight.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All my best to this upcoming year, club and high school. And congratulations on Baltimore Sun Coach of the Year. Big time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, we are off the crossbar. We are done.